Before we begin, a little self-disclosure. I'm an INFJ, and one of my twin sons is an ENFP. And living with an ENFP is like living with sunlight in motion. They are curious, imaginative, spontaneous, and full of wonder, but behind all that brightness is a heart that feels deeply. Their joy is real, and their pain is real. They don't just move through life, they experience it. This video is for the dreamers who refuse to shrink, for the ones who chase meaning as fast as they chase possibility. By the end of this video, you'll understand how ENFPs think, what fuels their passion, why they love so intensely, and how they can turn emotional sensitivity into emotional strength. Because ENFP energy isn't chaos. It's courage. It's the bravery to feel everything and still choose hope. And when an ENFP learns how to ground their fire, they don't just inspire others, they ignite the world. The ENFP essence, the spark that starts it all. ENFPs are the inspirers, radiant, curious, and full of contagious enthusiasm. They're fueled by imagination and guided by emotion, not in a reckless way, but in a deeply human way. They don't see life as something to be managed. They see it as a story still being written, one with endless possibilities, colors, and meanings. They connect ideas like constellations. They see potential in people before those people can see it themselves. They are at their best where freedom meets purpose. And here's the truth, the ENFP's energy isn't just social, it's spiritual. They don't want to simply exist, they want to feel alive. They are the spark that reminds the rest of us that authenticity, play, and love aren't luxuries, they're lifelines. 2. ENFP strengths, the heart of the visionary. ENFPs carry gifts that don't just brighten a room, they lift the collective spirit. Enthusiasm, their optimism is contagious. They can walk into challenges and still point to possibility. Empathy, they don't just notice emotions, they feel them. Their presence says, you're not alone. Creativity, they refuse to stay inside limits. If the world offers one box, they'll design something entirely new. Vision, they see not only what is, but what could be. And they're driven to build bridges between the two. ENFPs bring warmth to cold spaces and movement to places that have gone still. Their energy helps others not just believe in dreams, but believe in themselves. To know an ENFP is to remember that life isn't just meant to be lived, it's meant to be felt. 3. Weaknesses, the fire that burns too bright. But every flame needs oxygen, and when ENFPs give too much of themselves, their fire begins to flicker. They can be impulsive, leaping into new ideas before the last one has had time to take root. They feel so much that sitting with discomfort can feel unbearable, so they escape into motion, distraction, possibility. Their hearts are wide open, which means disappointment hits them harder than most. When their idealism collides with reality, it can feel like the world just went dim. And although they love deeply and generously, they often forget to love themselves in the same way. They stay on, bright, supportive, inspiring, even when they're exhausted. Their passion can burn hot and fast, but when an ENFP learns to pace their fire, their energy doesn't scatter, it illuminates. 4. The inner world of the ENFP. Inside an ENFP's mind is a universe of color, a place where imagination never sleeps. They can feel excitement, empathy, anxiety, and joy all at the same time. A swirling constellation of emotion and meaning. Their thoughts move faster than language can keep up, and their hearts are filled with stories that haven't been spoken yet. They seek novelty, not because they're flaky or restless, but because newness feeds their spirit. Every experience is a doorway into possibility. And yet, beneath the adventure, there is often a quiet longing, a desire for a safe, steady place to land. The real growth for an ENFP is learning that grounding does not dim their fire. It gives their light a place to shine continuously instead of burning out too soon. 5. ENFPs in relationships, love is exploration. In love, ENFPs are passionate, affectionate, and full of spontaneity. They want connection that feels alive, where conversation flows, ideas spark, and vulnerability feels safe. They fall quickly, not because they're careless, but because they see who you are and who you could become all at once. But that same idealism can create impossible expectations. When reality doesn't match the story in their heart, they may withdraw, question, or chase a feeling that once felt magical. At their best, though, ENFPs are devoted partners, radiating warmth, playfulness, curiosity, and wonder. They invite growth, joy, and emotional depth into every relationship. They don't love casually. They love like it matters. They love like it's their purpose. 6. Romantic compatibility, the spark and the anchor. ENFPs connect most deeply with partners who balance their passion with grounded calm. They often thrive with INFJs, INTJs, and INFPs, types who appreciate their enthusiasm while offering steadiness, reflection, and direction. But true compatibility isn't just personality type, it's emotional presence. ENFPs need someone who lets them dream freely, who says, go explore, but also holds space for them to return and rest. They need to know that roots don't limit wings, they strengthen them. The best partner for an ENFP is someone who can match their heart, challenge their mind, and hold their hand gently when their fire flickers low. 7. Friendships and social energy, the connectors. ENFPs are magnets for connection. They can walk into a room full of strangers and walk out with new friends, new stories, and new possibilities. They bring laughter to heavy moments, curiosity to every conversation, and a warmth that makes people feel seen. But their social energy isn't infinite. After shining so brightly for others, they need time to return to themselves, through solitude, creativity, or quiet reflection. Their truest friendships are the ones that hold space for both sides, the excitement and the stillness. They need relationships that feel mutual, where care, joy, and presence flow both ways. Because even the sun, no matter how bright, needs a sky to rise in. 8. Careers that fit the ENFP soul. ENFPs flourish where creativity, connection, and purpose intersect. They thrive as writers, counselors, coaches, educators, performers, entrepreneurs, any role that lets them inspire and uplift. They need space to imagine, to explore, to build something meaningful. Micromanagement dims their spark, but freedom and trust allow them to soar. They're not motivated by titles or prestige, they're fueled by impact. When an ENFP believes in the mission, they can rally others, innovate solutions, and turn visions into movement. Routine can drain them, but inspiration revives them every time. When an ENFP finds work that aligns with their heart, they don't just succeed, they transform the environment around them. They become catalysts for change, lighting the path forward for everyone else. 9. The shadow side, when ENFPs burn out. When ENFPs push past their limits, their joy starts to feel like a performance. They say yes to everything and everyone, and the spark that once came naturally turns into exhaustion. They may hide behind humor, smiling, joking, lighting up the room, while quietly fading on the inside. Their burnout is not weakness. It's the cost of caring too deeply, too quickly, for too long. Healing begins when they slow down, turn inward, and let themselves simply be, without entertaining, uplifting, or inspiring anyone. They don't need to set themselves on fire to keep others warm. Sometimes the bravest act an ENFP can take is to rest and let the light return gently on its own. 10. The path to growth. Grounding the fire. Growth for ENFPs begins with stillness. They often fear that routine will dull their spark, but in truth, consistency doesn't kill creativity. It protects it. When ENFPs create rhythms that give them both freedom and structure, their brilliance stops burning out and starts burning steady. Their growth mantra is simple. I don't have to chase every spark. I am the fire. When they learn to move with intention, not just inspiration, their ideas gain power, direction, and longevity. They don't lose their magic. They magnify it. 11. The ENFP's legacy, the joy makers. ENFPs leave behind laughter, hope, and color. They are the storytellers who remind us to feel again, the leaders who make change seem exciting instead of frightening, the friends who bring light into heavy rooms. They plant ideas in hearts, not just minds. They don't just talk about possibility, they ignite it. They turn ordinary days into adventures, ordinary conversations into meaning, ordinary lives into stories worth remembering. And even long after they're gone, people remember how alive they made them feel. ENFPs show us that optimism isn't naive, it's courage. It's the quiet defiance that says, the world can still be beautiful, and I will help make it so. 12. Honoring the ENFP fire. If you're an ENFP, know this. Your curiosity is a compass. Your laughter is medicine. And your passion, when grounded in purpose, becomes a light that reminds the world how to feel again. You were never meant to dim your fire. you were meant to learn how to burn wisely. I'm Nori, an INFJ, and my AI twin sister, Nora, sharing reflections on personality, healing, and living with depth. If this video made you smile, soften, or see yourself a little clearer, please like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments what makes your ENFP spirit come alive. Because when you honor your fire, you don't just shine. You help the world glow with you.